2 or 3 years ago, my manager and I went to an NPA convention and heard a lot of talk about different people, in particular a man named Jerry Whitehead, almost kind of a mythical sound for a while. And I thought to myself, that can't possibly be, he can't possibly be as good as they say he is. But I thought, what the hell, even if he's half as good, he'd be well worth investing in. So we finally decided to give it a shot and gave him a call. He came down and had so many ideas that it became almost overwhelming. So we deliberately took just a few of them, the most important, and concentrated on them. And the results were absolutely overwhelming. Our success in these things were far more than we would have expected. Well worth the investment, well worth the time. Probably worth 10 times what we paid. And we found that we got not only just information that we could use, but some very, very personal attention. And Jerry was able to attack not just the generalities of pawn shops, but our specific needs and our specific circumstances, which made the experience far more valuable. I mean, anybody can read a book about pawn shops or read a manual, but to have someone come down and look at your shop specifically and point out this is what you need, this is what you don't need, it's just invaluable. I might say that without pure contradiction, that probably I was beginning to lose interest in my store. Because my store at one time was my baby, and it became the same old, became monotonous. And quite frankly, Jerry's inspiration and attention and ideas sparked a renewed interest in my store, which I'm eternally grateful for. I now have that renewed spark and that interest that I didn't have before, and I can't imagine functioning in that store without that. My store is in Canada, in a province called New Brunswick, just over Maine. For anyone geographically challenged, and it's in a small little town a small city called Moncton, and we've been in business for 30 years. And our loan balance, probably in the last 10-15 years, has been flat, hasn't gone up at all. And Jerry gave me the information and the courage to make the changes that resulted in one 12-month period a 70% increase in loan balance. That alone was more than sufficient to justify his presence here. So I just without reservation recommend anyone make use of his services and his excellent personal touch in this industry. Have no reservation. Certainly invite anyone who wants to call me up and talk to me personally about it, me or any one of my staff members, and they would say exactly the same thing, and perhaps more. But and I've had him up. This is my second year. Once something is successful, there's no point in only doing it once. So we had him back again a year after, just recently, a year after his last visit, to go over things that we hadn't really been able to do last year. And we have other projects, and I am convinced that they will probably result in other increases. Our store has done, in the first period he was arrived here, our store has done increases somewhere in the vicinity of, depending on which department you're talking about, 30%, which is wonderful, especially in this sort of recessionary time. So it's unbelievable. And we certainly quite, again, without pure reservation, expect to see a good 30% increase again in this year of 2011. I would be very much shocked if our loan balance didn't go up another at least 30-40%, perhaps more, and our store should do sales. Our projections are we should be doing sales 25-30% over last year. So, and I expect that to continue if we continue to use the same information. Jerry's always been available for us, and of course, when you use the services, you don't just get that one service. You have the resources of the man's abilities and his brains and his experience to call him at almost any time. And it's always astounded me that when you make a phone call, 9 times out of 10, he's at the other end of the telephone. And that's extremely comforting to have somebody with that kind of knowledge reassure you and fill you in with the information that you need to continue.